changing room now. It is the challenge of their sporting lives that awaits. England team today: Mako Vunipola, Rob Webber and Kieran Brooks. Brooks fighting it out with Davy Wilson for that extra tight head spot. George Kruis, we are told, very impressive in camp this summer, and he links with the now fully fit again Jeff Parley. Tom Wood will surely go to the World Cup barring injury. He captains today. Callum Clarke, his Northampton teammate, wins a first cap. Ben Morgan returns after 8 months out. The Saracens combination, Richard Wigglesworth and Owen Farrell, it seems both final squad certainties. Unlike the centres, Sam Burgess and Henry Slade, fighting, we think, for one spot, both making their first appearance for a full England Union team. Johnny May, Anthony Watson, the wingers, Alex Good, the full-back. Now, France, a few fun and games with their team announcement, but eventually it emerged yesterday afternoon. The front row: Vincent Debatty, Nick Lamas and Dimitri Zarzewski. He's hooker and captain. The second row is Alexandre Francard and Johan Maestri. Big combo in height and weight. Yannick Nyanga, Fulgence Ouedraogo and Louis Picamol, the back row. Picamol, by all account, a standout player in the French training camp this summer. It's a chance for Morgan Parra and Francois Tranduc, who's winning his 50th cap, to stake claims again at half-back. Alexandre Dumoulin and Remy Lamoureux form the centre partnership, like the England centres, knowing that at least one might have to miss out. And then the back three: Brice Dulin on the wing today, Sofiane Guitoun on the other, and Scott Spedding, the South African-born full-back. And the replacements: Luke Cowan-Dickie needs a big one as he goes head-to-head with Jamie George, who'll play some part surely in Paris next week. We've talked about Davy Wilson. Dave Atwood, with Kruis firing, needs to play well as well. James Haskell too, if Callum Clarke has ripped it up. And for Danny Cipriani, Billy Twelvetrees, these are anxious times, tense times all round, Stuart.
Oh, tense and terrifically fascinating 2 miles.
And now it sort of all begins, because these matches determine who will actually be there to have the chance to see it through. All that work, all that preparation.
Time on, please.
France in red get us underway. Early touch for Wigglesworth and Jeff Parling too.
Stay.
And Wigglesworth with that left boot. It's a big weapon of his, a reliable one as well. Taken quickly by France. Picamols with the quick thinking. Slimmed down a bit, you sort of wouldn't know it. Still a giant of a man. Marseille's in the best ever shape, and so too Sam Burgess. He goes clattering into the French captain there, Zarzewski.
Use it!
Yannick Nyanga acts as the half-back. Picamols again. Sets it back to Nyanga. So already an impact from Burgess.
Yeah, he'll feel really good about that in the first minute. Hasn't got his hands on his ball, but he got his shoulders on a Frenchman.
Little chip through from Lamoureux. Oh, and there's good pace there from Dulin. And kicked on as well by Guitoun. And England might be caught for pace here. Oh, that's going to be tight. Johnny May was trying to get back.
Time off.
And John Lacey's going to have a good look at this.
Just check. Simon?
Yes, John?
We think it's dead, but just double check, please. Try yes or no.
We'll have a look at the replay now.
Really deft chip initially. Johnny May so fast, but he's turned. Now the ball is... Oh, it is close, isn't it?
Simon, we don't have a great view of that from here now.
Well, it's called the dead ball line.
Do you know what? I think the right hand of May actually is there first as well. Just keep your eye, Johnny May's right hand anyway.
It is May's hand. And
Johnny,
his speed has saved
have a
England
decision.
here.
It's touched on by White. It's a 22-metre dropout.
No try.
I tell you, that's fine play from Johnny May. He's been flying in training. He had to shift there. It's touch and go whether Guitoun would have got there, but he might just have made it, you know. Very clever kick. It turned England's rush defence.
Good early use of the technology as well. But a fast start from France, not just the quick line out. And they followed that up. And only May's speed saving England. In went Lamourette, hitting that ruck hard. Nice short ball from Morgan Parra. Tranduk, like his halfback partner, getting another chance to show what he can do on the eve of the World Cup, and that's well played by the combination. And the boot of Francois Tranduk, as I said, his 50th cap today.
France kicking very well at the start. That's a superb kick from Tranduk to put England under pressure. And Lamourette just outside him. Really good, putting England under all sorts of pressure at the moment. Territorially, it's a super start for France.
Yes, in please.
Early pressure then on Rob Webber, the hooker.
Okay, open up, take the mark.
Big issue for England as well. Dylan
Yes,
Hartley out. It means
don't
Tom
throw
Youngs
out
is
the
the
game.
clear number one,
Take it on the
but he
touch
does
lines.
struggle under this pressure. Webber last season, when he lost his place to Batty, lost his aim as well. He very much England number 2 at the moment, but he's got to find his arrows tonight.
At his club place, of course, and he
Inside the
finds
5 over.
his captain Tom Moore.
Ball! That's 1-9. It's 1-9.
Webber was England's replacement all the way through the QB series
Last feed.
last autumn. That's away by Wigglesworth, and that left boot again. Here's Spedding, the South African-born fullback for France. Short side is Guitoun. Offloads to Picamoz, that's good hands. And out again to find Parra and then Zarzewski. De Batty was also involved in that attack. And there he is again, the prop forward. Tranduk.
No, sorry.
In went Owen Farrell, his opposite number. Picked up by Maestri, the Toulouse man. Zarzewski, nice offload. Picamoz involved once more. Dumoulin, the big centre, that just seemed to go a little bit forward, maybe on the floor. It's been waved on. Here's Mass.
Oh, it's some lovely pass.
He's needed once more because that's the big frame of Picamoz. Just a couple of metres short now. Referee playing advantage to France. Morgan Parra. Francois Tranduk looking for a little bit of width here. Here's Brice Dulin. It's another chip in behind. And this time there's no need for the technology, but it will be the penalty signalled on this side.
Brilliant attacking play from France. Let's go down to Dean Ryan now. He's on the gain line. Dean?
You just see England have got so many people up in the front line, it's leaving acres of space for Good to cover. Johnny May's right up flat. As soon as you get that little kick, there's acres of space for the French attackers to run onto. A lot of work for Good if they stay that flat.
Johnny, looking here. Just a trend.
Also very important then for Watson, Wigglesworth to come round as well, just to keep that pendulum.
On your side or?
If it's one man, if it's the full-back marking all that space, it's almost impossible. It's one of the great skills of Lee Halfpenny, of course. But, you know, Good's a clever player. He's got a great brain, but he can't leave 100 metres width for France to just faint ball into.
So Morgan Parra, it's the kicking job off the tee. Over 300 points for his country. Injured that knee against Wales in the Six Nations He said this week that he's determined to stop moaning and just enjoy every minute now. Labelled himself as a bit of a moaner. But he won't be moaning about that start, either for him or his team. France thoroughly deserve that opening 3 points.
Saint-André giving nothing away, but he'll be delighted with the quality of the hand. And look at that, out of the right hand there from Picamol. He's a massive man, but he's always been able to just unload the ball twice then, and then on the other side of the field, just wait for the man, draws Slade. Super play from Picamol. Impressive start.
There he is again. Uruguay was suffering from a lung infection, so he's bounced back. It's pretty serious, that. He's bounced back very well indeed with health and fitness, and now terrific form to go with that. But England at last have something inside the French half to crow about. Put into the scrum.
Test for this England pack here. You can see so far France have been by far the better team, but you look at these two packs. This is a French pack that has a number of players you can imagine starting the World Cup against Italy. You look at Dibarty possibly, Nicolas Mas likely, Flancart likely, Maestri likely, with Pape having suffered injuries and a loss of form. This is almost 4/5 of the French pack. You look at the England one against it, Miles. There's a lot of people who are pushing for places in the squad, but not necessarily first team. So a real test for England in the scrum tonight.
And also someone like a Zalewski coming back to form, leadership role. Girardeau on the bench. He started all the Six Nations games for France. But feeling a bit of heat there at the scrum, although England are able to control it at the base, and a chance for Nyanga to bring it away. Then it's Dulin, throws it into midfield. Ouedraogo straightens it up. The Montpellier man. Para quickly in, lovely service too. Kick in behind Watson. The cross comes good. Making his point this week that he's not just playing for a squad place, he wants a starting place. Mike Brown, and his own ideas on that. There's Spedding. And Para. Tranduk. Nicolas Mas. Watson stepped in. He's got his man, Nyanga. But again, France good in the tight spots. Dulin. England penalty though.
Guilty of overplaying a little bit in their own half. Now, interesting, Clive Woodward saying before the game, everyone expects Burgess to crash it inside centre, to be decoys. But that first scrum, what we saw there, Burgess actually shifted out to the 13 position. England made a right mess of it, so they couldn't get there. But the very first attacking scrum of England, Burgess was standing, not in the 12 position, but in the outside centre situation. So expect him and Slade to switch through this game.
And England not going for the kick?
It's not quarter-final of the World Cup, it's not Wales or Australia. Understandable.
Crowd like it.
Burgess at 13 again, might not get that far.
Well, England and Morgan have got it here. John Lacey runs round to see what's happening. Now the call to England to use it. There is Ben Morgan. First game of rugby for 8 months for him. Away from Wigglesworth to Webber. Tackled by opposite hooker Zalewski. Wigglesworth switches. Finds Slade and Watson. Watson looks to go on the outside. Oh, that is brilliant! Great use of the feet. And that initial burst of pace, devastating.
Well, that is an absolutely wonderful finish from Anthony Watson. Stopped his man on the outside, in at the corner. But didn't England work that well? They drove that ball infield when they lost their momentum. They shifted to the left side. They brought players to the right. They had options either way. Initially work from the forwards. They've been doing this in training for weeks. By doing this, they can hold the opposing players in. Then Morgan, he looks as if he's going sideways, but what he's doing, he's going into the middle of the field. That gives Wigglesworth an option left. All right, Henry Slade makes the call. Henry Slade's pass is a beauty, and that is a glorious Bryce Doolan, left for dead by Watson. It's super play from Slade, but that is a top-class finish from the Bath winger.
Doolan has played on the wing before, but of course more regularly a fullback, just possibly a man slightly out of position there, question mark.
Well, possibly, Miles, but that ability to go from stopping to that sort of acceleration is going to leave a lot of players for dead. He's a fullback, isn't he? Those are situations he should be able to read. Watson has just blown him away. All the credit, I think, there goes to the England right wing. That was wonderful.
And now Farrell does have a chance for the kick, and it's a conversion, and it's a fine one as well. So the decision to kick towards the corner, absolutely vindicated by this brilliant finish from Anthony Watson. England management saying that they don't think he's an international fullback yet. They certainly feel he's an international wing, and Disney show it there.
Bryce Doolan won't feel like an international fullback after that, will he? What a start for the centres. Burgess making lots of tackles, hitting his men. Henry Slade, first ball in hand, beautiful pass.
Barling would have felt he had that, no matter how awkward a position he was getting into. And it was the effervescent Lamoureux. He's made a bubbly start. Sarzeski to Spedding. And Doolan's dropped that one, but backwards the call from the officials. And goes George Cruz. Watson there as well, the try scorer. Back with Para. And there's Maestri. There go the England supporters, buoyed by that early try. Surely not going to get a repeat of the Six Nations game, are we? Flankart takes it into contact, but there's certainly intent from both sides to attack with this ball. Lamoureux. Trenduk dropping back a little bit. Dumoulin.
Turnover is good.
England close that door again, and it's in the hands of captain Tom Wood, and kicked by Henry Slade.
That is great work from the England front row. They smashed Dumoulin, France's regular inside centre. They drove him backwards, and because of the power of that tackle, that enabled England to gain the front foot and turn the ball over. Absolutely brilliant. Webber is there first of all. That is tremendous. Callum Clark, the second man there. Tom Wood sweeps up the turnover. England make 50 yards. Brilliant play from Webber.
And Vunipola as well, initially involved.
Yeah.
To the front from Sarzeski to Flankard. And who started the top 14 final, of course won it with Stade. And France's never-ending season. Let's go to the game line again with Dean.
So much talk about Burgess, but it's the young man Henry Slade. Just watch this for vision in his first test match. He just sees the French forwards go to sleep. He also sees how late Doolan is to come and close the end of the line. Calls for the ball and then just gives it nice and early. And because Doolan's so late, Watson's got his feet. Great try in the corner.
It's reminiscent of New Zealand, the way they use Dag on that short side. Very clever.
Here's Burgess in midfield, looking to hang on to it. He's got it back. And he's certainly covered some ground there. Slade fizzes that one out to Watson again. There was a try scorer in the March meeting in the Six Nations. Watson, England's try scorer already tonight. Exciting first quarter of an hour we've had here. Wigglesworth to Farrell, the club combination. Slade again. Squeezes that ball out to Johnny May. Johnny May. He's bulked up in the summer. Looking a terrific specimen, he really is. George Cruz will be disappointed with that. Eyes were perhaps lighting up.
No advantage, right under pressure.
Eulogies continue for Henry Slade. Beautiful read to set up Watson for the try, and a gorgeous pass there. Burgess just about holds on to that ball, but when the ball sweeps back the other way, Sam Burgess's partner in the centre comes up with a lovely pass. Ball round the back, just that floated pass there, doesn't check Johnny May. Super play.
See Gael Fickou taking his tracksuit off down below. He's about to come on. It's a blood replacement by the looks of it. And it's Brice Dulin who's been a bit battered and bruised and blooded in these early minutes.
Psychological wound, probably physical as well. There's a bit of blood there. He won't be feeling good about himself. Very promising start though from the French forwards on the offload. They've been excellent, spearheaded by Picamole. And England, with young Henry Slade to the fore, have really been mixing their game up well behind the scrum.
Same for them now. Once the ball. Crouch!
France not won here since the 2007 warm-up match, so they lost their last 4 on this ground. Picamoles got away from Wigglesworth,
Rock! Stay now, 9.
but not from the clutches of Callum Clark. There's Tranduc, reasonable distance on that kick.
Well, it's about, what, 3 metres made by Picamole, but it's such an important 3 metres there. If Wigglesworth makes the tackle, at the back of that scrum, France are in trouble. 9 and 10 are under pressure to clear it, but he just strides through the scrum half, makes a couple of metres infield, and Tranduc has all the time in the world and an angle to find 40 metres.
Webber hitting Cruz, works nicely. Wigglesworth and Farrell and Burgess and Farrell again, and here comes Johnny May. Now Johnny May doesn't need much of a gap, nor does Watson. He's in again, I think. Oh yes, he is. What a start for Anthony Watson. What a start for England.
Well, it's the move the boys were talking about on the touchline. Henry Slade slips in to the first receiver. Farrell round, Burgess with another clever ball, and then May using that searing pace off the left wing. His pace scares the life out of France. It pulls them infield, and Watson with that little shimmy does the rest. There's the Burgess ball, Farrell coming round, there's the pace, the wings sucked into position. Watson so quick, and a lovely little in and out just to finish it off. Burgess to Farrell, Slade with the first receiver. Here's your pace, and this is again, what a finish.
That's almost exactly what Johnny and Will were taking us through before kickoff, wasn't it?
To a T, to a T. Now that's what happens though when you've got footballers all over the place. And Burgess, he played the simple part, but he played it okay. That's a great finish, but a very creative piece of play from England's midfield.
4 again, George, yes.
Well, Farrell liked it from here last time. Can he repeat the feat? Not quite. But it really doesn't take too much shine off the start, and the brace of tries for that man, Anthony Watson.
See, Burgess does he fixes Gael Fickou just on the pitch there. May just about pulls 3 men into his path, and that is a glorious finish there. He's reaching for it, isn't he? That pass is just falling away a bit, but Watson has the pace and the vision to take it.
Fickou looked in front of the kicker there on the restart. So often that goes unpunished. Brooks gives to Wigglesworth. Watson there again, got a hand on it, went backwards clearly, so that was okay, but then it was a knock-on from Farrell, but the advantage played and given to France, and they might take full advantage of it. Lamarack finds Nyanga, who shows good wheels to get across there. And then there's another knock-on.
Scrum right.
I think Anthony Watson actually had an opportunity, and he had the space to claim that one without knocking that ball backwards, and it just broke to the French player. Perhaps a bit of communication there. It was a good kick, it gave him the chance. Okay. Retrospectively, he watches that again, he might think, hey, I should have gone for that ball.
Perhaps could have done with a shout from somebody behind him. You can see what was in front of the winger.
Crouch! Bind! Set! Squeeze!
Strong England scrum again. If anything, France going backwards there. Morgan Parra didn't really look. Was trusting the support to be there, the scrum half. This time, he opts for the boot, and Alex Goode is in charge of the situation. Calls for the mark. And the Saracens man. He certainly got the distance. It's a difficult angle. It's well caught by Spedding. It's going straight back to Goode. He's caught by Spedding. England's support is excellent though. Vunipola and Brooks, the props combined. Then it's Farrell going wide. Sam Burgess drops that ample shoulder of his. Tom Wood, the captain, finds Farrell again. Here comes Kieran Brooks. And that's gone forward as well.
Quick word, Clive, I can remember commentating on you 12 years ago, warm-up game in Wales, your second team destroyed them. So impressive. Been a pretty good start here. What's your take on the 2015 vintage?
A very good start, Stuart. First of all, they defended well those first few minutes. France started very, very well. I'm just mainly watching the young English forward pack. This is a very good French forward pack, and the English forwards look fit, look strong, they're getting a lot of ball. The key call to me was going for that line out and not kicking for goal after about 15 minutes, and that has set the whole momentum of the game. And I think Henry Slade is really looking the part. When Watson scored, it was the call. He just called it, having the confidence to call the ball, and his pass was excellent. So a great start for England, definitely.
Thanks, Clive. Maybe England have to find a place for Slade and Burgess if this continues. Oh, in goes Burgess again. It's all good from both of them. Ball has gone forward, I think, off an English. Oh, but Burgess has wrapped up another, and that is big physical presence from slamming Sam.
Well, it would be hyperbole to call it seismic, but that is a substantial hit there from Burgess. And it's not just the hit, the timing of it is very good. At Bath, he often came in with the shoulder, he rushed out of a line. Look at the discipline there, he knows it's on, and bang, he comes in, and that ball ain't going anywhere.
13 caps in rugby league for England. World Cup semi-final as well, when he scored a try against New Zealand a couple of years ago. He'd love to be part of English rugby union quest for a World Cup. Might well be if this continues.
He couldn't have started much better, Miles. He's gone really well here at Twickenham.
And as Clive said, nor to Slade.
Slade's been exceptional, especially for a young guy.
Up under pressure.
Well, France respond well at the scrum.
Well, that is one thing historically France have done, isn't it? Respond at the scrum. It's so much at the heart of their game, and it is a very experienced front five. I mean, Maestri and Flankart love to just get their heads in that scrum and shove it, and you look at a big back row as well. They're putting a lot of weight through there, and Graham Rowntree will have noted that. You can see in the foreground Mako Vunipola, brilliant footballer with an unusual array of skills, but probably the backup to Joe Marler to start. And here you can see why he'll come on at 60 or so when the hard work's done early on. If France are doing it there.
On the bench today for England at loose head, Alex Corbisiero, Lion star on the West Tour of Australia. As you say, Marler, Vunipola, they've been occupying the positions. Vunipola said the training camp was as punishing as he feared. It seems to have had a good effect on both teams, to be fair, the pace in which the game is being played at. Here's Parra, a bit further out. He's got the distance, though, and he's got the direction as well. That's another fine kick from Morgan Parra. It makes it England 12, France 6.
OK, 26 minutes into the game, we have to consider what's going to happen in the next 20 or so. There will be substitutions. We know that from both sides. England have a lot of options, and I think most of these guys will be on between 40 and 50 minutes, with possibly the exception of Farrell, who will stay on, and Cipriani, if he does come on, I think it'll be at full back. But expect them to be coming on pretty quickly, no matter what the circumstances.
It's only right and fair, really, to give those players a chance as well. Has to be expected in games like these, although sometimes when it happens, there's a loss of structure, loss of rhythm to a side's performance.
Yeah, I'd also say, Miles, whilst, yes, you want to give everyone a chance, a coach also has to see what's going on in front of him, and if he thinks that Slade or Burgess is going better than he thought, he might say, well, let's give them another 10 minutes to see how they just progress and develop and flower into this red rose.
And the England management have been saying in the build-up to this, how nothing is finalised, and they can still play around after Paris next week.
Yeah.
August the 31st is the deadline for squads to be announced, a 31-man squad. There's Johnny May. And Farrell with the up and under. Well, it's good having to let the man drop to the floor, timed his tackle well, but secure possession. That's good work on the touchline. Burgess involved again with Watson. Little pat on the back for the try hero.
England will feel very pleased with that. It's a good take from Spedding, but then from 15 metres wide of the touchline, France are ushered into touch. Ball turned over. Watson with the strength. Burgess, he's everywhere at the moment.
He's a presence, isn't he? He's a leader.
Yeah, and he's just doing everything humanly possible to make it as hard as possible for Stuart Lancaster to take him out of the equation. And you can see England are making some tackles, aren't they?
Comes flying back at the line out. Not the greatest control there, but Vunipola did well to sweep it up. Here's Wigglesworth. It's asking an awful lot of Watson to get there to put the pressure on straight away. Doolan, who's back on, nearly lost it though, which would have continued his bad start to the match. Here's Johnny May on the counter-attack. Wigglesworth there, pointing out to May where the space was. There's Farrell combining with Wigglesworth. Slade, it's too tight. And Alex Good does not want to release that ball quickly to Romain Lamarack.
Something and nothing. Just go back to the tackle count. England with the 2 tries, but I think the vast number of England's tackles tells you how clever the French offloading has been and how they play in narrow little pop passes which are bringing the tacklers onto it, whereas England, when they've had the ball, have really gone for their set calls and have just ripped France to pieces.
We're told that 13 of those tackles have been made for England by Sam Burgess. Oh, he's gone down to 8. Still, it's a lot. A fair portion.
Two absolute beauties, we're agreed on that.
There's Picamoles. Callum Clark wouldn't let go of him. He's back on his feet there, the Northampton man, wearing 7 in this match. But through goes Picamoles. England worked hard, but they couldn't see off Picamoles, and Morgan gets back at him and does well. That has to be a knock-on in the tackle. It was. Morgan, well, his fitness there was tested to the full by Louis Picamoles.
Gargantua, and he is playing a fantastic game for France. We're talking about A lot of good performance for England, Watson and Slade and Burgess, but this guy, the number 8, is tearing this game up. Bounces a couple of men off there. Great pick-up, straight through Mako Vunipola. The gate opens wide there. That will disappoint the Saracen loosehead, but brilliant play again from Picamole. Look at the footwork there. Now, he's lost weight, and that's why he's able to do that. He's always been able to batter down a barn door, but now he can do a bit of country dance in 2 miles. Square dancing, is that what I meant? Oh.
It's in lockdown, that scrum. Call came from this near side. John Lacey took it from the touch judge.
The subject of scrums, I've been really encouraged by what I've been seeing in the Rugby Championship and the warm-up games in this hemisphere. Unlike a lot of club rugby, the scrums, by and large, are staying up. They're staying strong. It's a serious competition, and when it goes down, there seem to be good decisions in terms of the penalties given.
Well, Leighton Hodges, the touch judge, said knee on the floor, so let's see.
Well, he's whipped the arm around there, hasn't he? You can see Brooks has just pulled him round. But it's been a good contest so far. You know, Argentina, they're playing somewhere, sometime this evening. If you want to see scrummaging, you'll watch them afterwards on your record button. But it's going to make the World Cup so much better if you're having serious scrummaging, because it holds players down and it opens up space for others.
It's Buenos Aires against South Africa. That's happening round about now. If you want to follow that game, that's starting 8:30. Just got underway on the Sky Sports Ashes channel. Here at Twickenham, Parra makes it 3 from 3.
Well, that one belongs to Picamole, doesn't it? To Picamole and the power of the French pack. Experience, big, strong. They're causing problems. England, with their backline glittering at times, dancing over this fantastic surface. They're asking questions that France can't answer at the moment. It makes for a fascinating match thus far.
Oh, now the man wasn't down that time. Parra has felt that. Henry Slade charging forward. Oh dear. I don't think John Lacey's going to call for anything more.
Over exuberance. It is a penalty. Morgan Parra might think is a little bit. Well, now Parra has a tendency occasionally to act these ones out. He is taken high there. Slade knows he's done it. He's apologising immediately. I think John Lacey has just about come up with the right decision, although we've seen a lot of yellow cards given in similar circumstances.
No time is a good time to get on the wrong side of the lawmakers and those who hand out cards and bans, but there would have been a heart and mouth moment for just Morgan Parra there, who felt the hit from Henry Slade, but Slade himself. But John Lacey, I think sensibly, just recognising that was just a matter of over-exuberance and timing, and no need to call for any more, just the penalty, and France clear their lines pretty effectively as well.
Quick rhetorical question: had that been Callum Clark or Tom Wood chasing up and clobbering Morgan Parra, do you think John Lacey would have gone yellow, or do you think he didn't because it was Henry Slade, a young centre?
Well, that we'll never know, I suppose, but players do sometimes feel that their reputation goes before them. But Clark feels he's a reformed character. I suppose he's the headline in terms of reputation going into this match, but he just wants his rugby to do the talking now. His clubmate Dylan Hartley knows what it's like to be suspended and miss out. Here's Parra again to Picamole, who's been the pick of the bunch for France in this first half. Certainly when talking to Stuart Lancaster in the week, he was respecting, not fearing, but feeling that Picarols was one of the men to watch, if not the man, if selected. We didn't know until Friday. And there is Callum Clark. Sets it back to Wigglesworth. Farrell finds Burgess and Watson looking for a first half hat-trick. Henry Slade again. As a very versatile member of the squad, he will be, Slade. 12, 13, 10. All positions that he would feel comfortable in. Played fullback as well. Here he is, once more. Just don't look after the ball there, and it cost them.
You can see what England are trying to do yet again. They've moved that ball 15 metres infield as France go quickly. They're looking for that short side.
Yeah, Parra was pulled back by Burgess as well, which might land him in a little bit of trouble. Advantage being played for that. Yes, John Lacey is going for the yellow card. And Burgess will be in the sin bin either side of half-time. Very little tolerance now, that kind of professional, inverted commas, foul.
Well, that's your nightmare as well, when you've got a certain amount of time to press your case for inclusion in a World Cup squad of 31. He's gone pretty well so far. Made the decision. I don't think he needed to do it. Doesn't seem a try situation. Parra so clever, and he milks that one. Something rotten, but Burgess has got his hands on his shirt. Shouldn't have done it.
Just an instinct thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you'd have to say that's a little bit naive. You know, these things, that's 40 metres that have gone to France, and I don't think Burgess had to do it. I think Morgan Parra was very clever. He showed all his union experiences, tap go, and he bought that penalty.
Yes, the go-to instinct there has to be, it's not the right part of the field to be doing that. You run the risk anyway, but you can understand it more close to your own line if a try is almost certain. So France now with the extra man. They've stayed in touch well, having taken the lead right at the start of the match. Cancelled out by the 2 tries. Crossfield kick from Tran Duke. Up goes Johnny May. Palms it back to Alex Good. He's a little bit on his own there. Helped out by Slade and May. May's been really working hard on those 50-50 challenges, such an important part of his game now, internationally. Wigglesworth kicks, May will chase, but this will be not a quick line out. France started the match with that kind of play in that area, but not this time.
Well, England took their eyes off the ball at the start of the match. They just kept running. That time, Johnny May turned, kept his eye on the French right winger, making sure it wasn't going to go quickly. Chased it down and made it a decent kick from Wigglesworth. This is where May has had to work so hard and has done well. It's a good kick, French right wing coming from out to in there, but May knocks it back, and he and Good did very well.
Guitou not the tallest, neither Dulin, the 2 wingers for France tonight. Pinging around in there, falls into English hands. Eventually the safe hands of Owen Farrell. Was that taken back in the 22? Question's been asked by France. But the first knock on was from France, and England will put into this scrum.
Well, I've been pretty impressed with the collective of the French forwards. I'm wondering what Johnny Wilkins has got to think about England. Johnny, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's been an enjoyable first half. I think a lot of talk about the 2 guys in the midfield. Just very quickly, I thought I thought maybe it should have been a yellow card on Slade, unfortunately, but I think Burgess was instinctive. Probably doesn't often like getting run past and just lashed out. So, however, if anyone wants to learn about tackle technique, just watch what Sam Burgess is doing at the moment. It's aggressive tackling at its best. But for me, the real stars so far have been the England back 3. Look at the way Goods marshalled the back pendulum working down very, very hard. And then you look at the two guys on the wing, the pace injection has changed the game. Look at those moves. Both the tries scored have come from injections from the back, from the wingers. Without that, it's a dead gain line move.
Thanks, Johnny. Half is ending with a scrum battle, which has evened up as the half has gone on. There's the speedsters in May and Watson, and how much they offer England and how they can frighten the opposition. We've seen that again in this first half.
I think Johnny May is a serious contender to force his way back in. Jack now will be chewing his nails watching this. Lost his place. It was a very indecisive period of his career around February, but he bounced back with his club. He's trained really well, but forget the training. When it matters is when you get in front of the audience, and in front of the audience, as Johnny Wilkinson says, he's doing it again. He looks extremely confident, strong and decisive.
Dropped after the Italy game in the Six Nations, but he's come back strong. Scored that wonder try, didn't he, against New Zealand last autumn. Certainly shocked New Zealand that day.
Okay, we're getting further away. I want it closer and I want it stable before the ball goes in. Is that clear? Okay, let's go. Time on.
Taking time out the game here, this scrum. I think both sides won't be too unhappy with the state of the clock. England in their own half will be looking to get this off, I think.
Some lovely thing from the England backs. Back three have been dazzling, the midfield have been interesting, but the French pack have kept them in it. It is a very compelling and a competitive game.
England keeping that ball in the scrum again. But this time it is the defensive option to set up the platform for Wigglesworth and Farrell to take us to half-time. England leading at the interval by just 3 points, even though they've scored the 2 tries. Both scored by Anthony Watson, doubling his international tally from 2 to 4 in this, his 10th cap. Home defeats not on the agenda for England anytime really, but especially not now, and they're pretty well placed at half-time. 12-9 they lead. But France far from out of it, and they've certainly played their part in a very entertaining first period, but the most entertaining moments came from that man, Anthony Watson, and his 2 tries. The thoughts of Johnny, Clive and Will after the break. And England have made a change. There is James Haskell is off the bench, and as expected really, Ben Morgan, after 40 minutes of rugby, gets to put his feet up. He trained fully for the first time, full contact last week, having been out injured from that broken leg since January. So he has had his 40-minute run out, and England have turned over the ball right at the start of this second half. And here's Webber. I have to say the ground was in terrific voice at half-time. There'll be 10 World Cup matches on this ground, of course, including the final, both semi-finals. It's a good recovery from France, England having got that early foothold. And there's Dulin inside, good ball to Spedding. This is brilliant rugby from France. And back goes George Cruz. Showed a good motor to get back. And England's turn to maybe think of something here on the counter-attack. Farrell saw the space, of course. Dulin and Spedding have committed, so Nyanga has to go back. France, by the way, unchanged at half-time, and here goes Nyanga. And just 3 points behind, lest we forget. And there's De Batiste showing his running skills off again, as he did in the Six Nations. That try here in March. It's a little bit loose, but it's not gone forward. It might have done on the floor. John Lacey says no. And that's a penalty, as France prevent legal release from England.
Well, a frenzied sequence of threats. If you get turned over in international rugby, you are under pressure. Nyanga's in with an absolute beauty there. And look at this, short side, alarm bells should be going. England cannot get the men across, they weren't defensively ready for that one. And again, the offloading of France is so impressive, backs and forwards alike. Saw it this morning, didn't we? Australia in the game for 20 minutes. 5 metres from the New Zealand line, they get turned over. 30 seconds later, it's 10-3 to New Zealand and a rout's on the way. You have to protect your ball at the breakdown.
Especially when you're a man down. England still have Sam Burgess in the sin bin. Webber throws down into the hands of Wigglesworth, and then big hand to James Haskell, winning his 59th cap. Johnny May with that step. Wigglesworth, real nuts and bolts, gets those things right, does Richard Wigglesworth. There he is again. That goes Gutoun. A lot of space there for the winger, and also now for the England fullback Alex Good. Steps away from Gutoun. Beats another man, Lamoureux, who gets back, but that was excellent from the England fullback. His major competition for that shirt, Mike Brown, would have been proud of that too. Farrell's kick, and Gutoun this time uses the boot. Spedding. Let's see if Alex Good takes the quick one. He's going to. Johnny May. Sometimes it seems that only May is aware of where he's going, and even he might not be.
Well, I think he is now, Miles. He's really sharpened his game up.
But there's that unpredictable side to his play as well, which will scare defences. Here's Cruz.
Again, England are splitting the open short side really well, always giving themselves the option.
Here's Good. May once more inside to Webber, and he's bundled out. Let's go down to the gain line for the first time in the second half with Dean Ryan.
As we saw in the first half, when Slade was able to pull back and be able to see that short side, you can just see Alex Good looking for the same thing. The normal play is just to keep pushing the forwards, come round. We're starting to see Good say, this is where the opportunities lie. I'm going to come in as first receiver and see if I get it. Just disappointing, didn't get ball fast.
Back of the line out, England get it. And Farrell and Slade and Anthony Watson. Wigglesworth. France flying up a little bit there, and Vunipola picked a good line, showed good power too. Wigglesworth, good hands from Slade, well, more than that. That was sumptuous. Crowd reacted well. Farrell to Good, he's seen the space again. Here comes Johnny May onto this, surely to score. Excellently worked again by England. So many were involved. When they pounced on the scramble ball, they made the most of the opportunity.
In his own way, that is as good as Anthony Watson's second score. Henry Slade shows his range of skills with a beautiful pass. But I think what really makes this is the brain of Alex Good. 30 seconds after Dean Ryan talks about him looking to find his way and pick up either space to attack, he's at it again. Great awareness, he's got vision. As this ball comes back from Slade's super pass, Good will look up all the time in the world. No rush. Johnny May is in acres of space. He can't miss him. I mean, that's a kick pass, and as it goes, a pretty easy one, because the French have been pulled out of position. But Good is just arcing around the back of the breakdown area, just waiting to see what's happening, where the defenders are, what he can do. Classy stuff. Is
It's
that the
Farrell.
mark? I was going to say, Miles, is that the mark of a third fly half, that vision?
And Farrell converts. Well, let's get the views of England's number one fly half. Doesn't play for England anymore, but that's the position he's in. Johnny Wilkinson.
Yeah, it's great looking at England's balance at the moment. They've got basically 3 number 10s out there, the way that Goo's playing at the back. He's playing as a fullback, but he's happy to play as a 10, which means you've got 3 sets of eyes that are used to scanning, making decisions, putting their neck on the block and saying, this is what we want to do. Great width from Johnny May, great lead up to that play, but yeah, that's a kick on the run, that's a late decision, and it's just the right thing at the right time. And now look at the game. Look at the game after, you know, 2 seconds. Now England 19-9, 2 scores, momentum's their side. You know, great to have 3 guys that are willing to make those decisions on the field at the same time.
It was interesting the way Johnny phrased that there. People prepared put their necks on the line. Because in rugby we say often we talk about bravery and we talk about physical bravery. But there's the mental bravery to look up, to see what's on and have a go for it. And when you've got brains like Slade, Good, and of course at fly half Farrell, you can make these things happen, but you have to be brave.
You mustn't forget George Ford as well, so the likes of Ford and Farrell taking on the mantle, taking on Wilkinson's jersey and filling it very well indeed.
Oh, I wouldn't forget George Ford is just not out there at the moment, is he? He's a great think of the game as well, Miles, yeah.
Options. That's what England are starting to get here. So there's Debati. Para to Tranduk. Lamarat. Penalty. Coming in at the side there, France, right under the nose of the referee. Another option for England in that fly half role is Danny Cipriani, and he is coming on with another Danny Kerr, as England make some changes. Let's hear what Will Greenwood has to say about this.
Well, I think Alex Good has done a supreme job at fullback today, covered everything. What I've loved about it in the second half, we were a bit critical of England in the first half, where they slowed the game down at scrums. He just took quick line-outs, he countered, he's the one that put the pace on. Yes, it was a cross kick, but it started 2 or 3 phases before then, when he upped the pace.
And it's Cipriani coming on at full-back for Good to show that he's another option in another position, not his chosen one. He plays his club rugby at fly half, of course. Farrell stays out there. The sailman goes to full-back. And he's got a chance now to prove that he could be a vital and versatile member of the squad. Vunipola. Danny Kerr. Slade, who is hit hard there. Might be a chance for Para, but it's gone forward.
Leave it, boys. Leave it now. Leave it.
Bit of a flare-up.
Nothing too much. Audacious little
Time off, please.
rolled one-handed pass there from Cipriani, and a great pickup by Vunipola, wasn't it?
Okay, I want you to have a word with him when he's finished as well. He needs to be quiet now, okay? Just to knock on an attack, and then we're going to have a scrum. Just have a word with your players now, nothing silly. Understand me?
Is anything off
No,
the ball,
nothing. No.
Shoveled into the ground there by Pickamola. He didn't like it. And who would?
Sorry, guys. Top down, come off.
England wisely sent 5 men in to sort out Louis Pickamola.
Right at the end of the scuffle, Sam Burgess had time for a wink. I think Slamming Sam was in control.
Log, guys. Log.
Meanwhile, France have made a change in their front row. Nicolas Mas, 35-year-old Nicolas Mas has gone now, and Winnie Antonio has come on to win his 8th cap, man born in New Zealand. There he is, big number 18.
It's very interesting. We've been talking about 3 fly halves. Farrell there, Cipriani now at full-back, and Slade at outside centre. But you look at what is seen at the moment as the first choice England backline, and you have a bona fide 10 at 10, George Ford, but then Jonathan Joseph in no way, shape or form would be considered one, and nor would Mike Brown, who's a very different sort of player to Alex Good. Brown's an inspirational player, a great tackler, a guy who lifts the players around him, but Good has a different vision to the way he plays. And how England decide they want to take on this World Cup, I think will shape a decision they make at 15. I tend to think there is a decision that looks like it might have to be made at some stage in the next month. Who's going to be the number 115?
And to continue, Brad Barrett or Luther Burrell don't offer that extra fly half option.
No, they don't. But there again, we're not seeing that from Burgess. If your 12 can banner up and down with vision around him, I think you're all right if you've got that many decision makers.
Care to Farrell. There's Burgess going across the game line. Tom Wood didn't start in the Six Nations, starting as captain tonight, and enjoying what he's seeing now. Vunipola in open spaces. Johnny May cuts on the 45-degree angle, and for a moment looked very threatening indeed there, as did Vunipola. So he covered a lot of ground very quickly. Here's Farrell, sets it up for Kieran Brooks. One now at the Northampton club. Have to wait to play for them though. It's lost by England at the breakdown once more. That will be a little area of concern. There have been too many turnovers for England's liking. Here's Spedding picking it up. Drago. Webber had a good view of it, but was warned by the referee not to touch it. Tara feeds back, and Spedding, with that big boot of his, gets the ball safely away. The man who's joined Clement now from Bayonne.
Decent hands there from Burgess and Vunipola. An outside centre and a pretty accomplished outside centre. Ball in 2 hands. Nice pass there to Johnny May. He's got a role to play, Vunipola, in this World Cup.
He's got somebody new to prop against in Antonio, and in fact it's a whole new French front row now as Guillaume Guirado comes on and Javier Chiocchi, both of Toulon. Off go Debatty with Clement and Racing's Zarzewski. George Cruz, that was brilliant to win the ball, then not quite the delivery, but Haskell is there. Kerr. Vunipola again.
He's coming right into this game as it develops, Miles. He looks fit.
Denver has done him a power of good, although he was running around like a mad thing last season as well, but players looking really sharp out there, needing this game of rugby and delivering in it. England leading by 10 points. There's Jeff Parling looking to add here. Oh, Tom Wood. Well, he'll be distraught with that, the captain.
Not happy with himself there. He's done well at the line-out personally, and that's a very good take from England there. Good steal from George Cruz, who's perhaps found it pretty physical against the French 5 today, but that's excellent work. It's not the greatest pass to Wood either, it's got to be said.
I think he was more bothered with the knock that he suffered than the knock on. might have been the contributing factor there.
Yeah. John Lacey checking for foul play at the moment.
So there's been this call for foul play. I think it's against an England player as well. John Lacey waits to see if there's any video footage that he can make a decision on.
Johnny, we're going to put it on the screen now.
Checking foul play.
Johnny, look for 7 White,
Yeah, that's what I want
taking
to
his
see, please.
taking his opponent out.
It's Callum Clark.
Okay, what I'm seeing there is a neck roll there. I'm going to yellow card 7 for dangerous play. You agree?
Correct, Johnny.
Okay. Captain!
And this is what England didn't
7.
want. It's what Callum Clark did not
7.
want today.
It's a dangerous
Davis'
clear
first
over
cap.
around the neck, mate. No, it's around the neck. Off you
Oh
go.
dear. That's a bad one, considering those discipline issues that
Is that the map, John? Is that the map?
have
Where is it?
been surrounding his name before.
Is it closer to the 10-metre line?
Yes. Simon, can you advise the mark, please?
Well, it looks like Brooks is involved as well, but he's got himself in a lock. There's no doubt about that. He's not coming from behind. It looks marginal, but once you start grabbing someone around the neck in the breakdown situation and you roll him, that's always the likely eventuality, isn't it?
He's been a star in training, been very deserving of this chance. The England management have been saying this first cap has been sort of hovering around the squad for 3 years, really. There's no doubt the referees have been asked to look out for such challenges, and John Lacey has responded to that. So without Callum Clark, having been without Sam Burgess early in the match, England down to 14 again and having to defend here. Still far from out of sight. Girardo. Well, that's hurt Kieran Brooks. So England another man down here injured. Brooks trying to get back into the defensive line bravely. But he's stinging. And that is the England try line. Antonio waits, uses his bulk. In goes Maestri. It's Ouedraogo, back it comes to Girardo. Antonio again, has he got that down? No, he's not got the ball. England delighted with their defence. John Lacey will just need to check as the ball was bouncing around that line, but that shake of the head from Antonio might just confirm.
Yes. Simon, can I just check that, please?
Before the picture.
Referee has lost the forward. Just want to check.
We'll look at the replay now, Johnny.
I think you'll see a big hit, and I think it's James Haskell comes in with it, and that dislodges the ball.
Did we go?
Oh no, he's just lost it. It's not Haskell, but it is forward.
And Burgess was there again, protecting the guard position.
Have you seen it?
Yeah. Are you seeing a red knock on?
Yes.
That's controlled scrum 5.
Correct. Clear knock on by Red.
Attacking more. No try. Lost forward. Subs, please. Time off.
Well, Antonio will never have a better chance of scoring at Twickenham possibly than that. It should really have finished it, but France will still try and put the heat on this scrum.
England bringing on Luke Cowan-Dickie, first cap for him, the Exeter hooker. David Wilson is also on into the pack. There's Cowan-Dickie.
An amazing time, Mars, to make front row substitutions like that.
Dave Atwood is there as well. Jeff Parling's gone off.
Well, Dave Atwood gives you real ballast in the second row. It's not just the front row here. This needs to be a good collective scrum.
This Atwood lost his place right at the end of the Six Nations, having started them all and the autumn series in 2014.
Brooks had to go off, he's struggling.
And the scrum goes round. France accused, England penalty, and Burgess straight in there again. Spent a lot of time in the bath pack, of course, and he's quite happy to go across to the forwards and say congratulations on that effort, and the new men as well, straight into action.
I wonder if France will feel slightly hard done by that. Let's just say the machinations of the scrum.
Okay, but you're on your right knee as well.
As opposed to the Machinot, who didn't make the training squad, nor Lopez, two prominent halfbacks in French rugby, were left out. Don't forget, we're off to Paris next week for the return, and we'll start our warm-up at 7:30. Time over here, it will be, of course, an hour on in France. So one of those late starts in Paris.
Use it!
Of course, all England games in the World Cup pool stages kicking off at 8 o'clock. It's good work from Paris, snapping away there a couple of times in this attack. Lamarat, not a good ball to give to him. They wants it quickly.
I tell you, if we could have a Vunipola camera at the moment, you would see an amazing amount of work. He's just put in another big tackle in midfield. And this is a guy who England expect probably to come on around the 50-60 minute mark for Marler or even Corbisiero, and that's great news for England. You got front row forwards making tackles like that, aiding Tom Wood. It's a massive benefit. It just does so much for the defensive line around the fringe.
Cameron Dickey's throw is a good one, so a good start, and a very good start because he's gone down on the loose ball as well when England lost control of it. But the initial knock-on spotted by the referee. We're hearing that Kieran Brooks is having a head injury assessment, so conceivably could return. Of course, he's got that contest with Davy Wilson for the backup tight head to Dan Cole.
Amazing, it's amazing really, isn't it? Because you saw him go down, you used the word he was stinging. He came back and he was holding his arm and he walked around the side of the touchline in extreme discomfort, and it was undoubtedly his arm.
Crouch!
No doubt.
Up we get. Listen to me now. Okay, we're both heads on heads here. We go ear to ear, we come closer. Okay? So problem here. Step in, please, boss. No head to head. Crouch!
Just a flood of replacements, two more about to come on for France in Cockett and Tales, half-backs. Oh, what a powerful scrum that is from France. England got the scrum penalty near their own line, but not here.
No machination there, Miles. That was powerful. Cockett is about to come on, but Morgan Parra has kicked pretty well so far. 19-9. What is the French option? It looks as Parra has just said bang it in the corner. If England can do it in the first half, we'll do it this half. And that's a beauty.
From Dulin.
That's a beauty. There you can see the right arm goes. The wrist. And the swelling there, you can see it. Strangest head injury I've ever seen.
Time is off. You stand in the mark. Time is off. What did I just say? Time is off.
On a serious note, Miles, that didn't look good. I mean, he was in extreme discomfort there. And that swelling had come up very quickly, hadn't it?
Guirado now to the wishes of the referee, throws it. And France produce here. If they do, they are right back in this. They have done. A magnificent effort from the French pack. They are delighted with that.
Well, at the moment, they're just starting to bully England up front. That last scrum, where they just exploded the England eight. Brilliant kick from Dulin, and they were just over. Ouedraogo at the middle of it. Unstoppable. England just fragmented. They were savage at the scrum, and this line-out, well, they were lost from the moment that ball was taken by Flankart and the drive came on. England will be very disappointed with their defensive structure there. Look at this, all over the place.
Just didn't have the numbers at all in any position there. Whichever way it went, just steamrolled over the line. Thalès straight on to take a... Cockett to take a conversion.
Of course, we should say, England scrummaging a man like, defending that line out, a man like Callum Clark still in the bin. France making the most of the extra man.
Rory Cockett. Extra points. No, extra man, yes. Extra points from the conversion, no. Ouedraogo's try.
Maestri takes that really well. Ouedraogo's there quickly. It's a right phalanx there, a French phalanx, and boom, he's over. Ouedraogo scores it, and it is very much game on. The flair of the English against the power and efficiency of the French. It was not ever thus.
Off goes Vunipola, on comes Alex Corbisiero in the loose head position. It was France with the extra man with Callum Clark in the sin bin, but also bringing in winger Guitoun there as the extra forward. It was superb organisation and technique, and this now very much a contest.
Well, it is. I mean, there's a sense that, oh, well, England should be well clear because they've played the flash rugby and they've scored some lovely tries, some exquisite finishes. But this game is not just about beautiful back play. It's about controlling the ball, it's about territory, and it's about raw power. And in those three aspects of the game, you know, France have been on top throughout this game, first half, and especially this last 15 minutes or so.
Cowan-Dickie, who with the Hartley situation could be a real bolter. Jamie George will get his chance next week, but Cowan-Dickie goes again and finds David Wilson. They're all pumped up, having watched Kieran Brooks start, and now see him get injured as well. Henry Slade was a little bit concerned there when he put boot to ball, that he put too much on that. He didn't, but it was still easy enough for Spedding to call for the mark.
Yeah, I think Slade needed to just put a little less air on that one. Ball in the air too long made it easy for Spedding.
Farrell. Slade goes after that. And makes the catch initially, and then she feels the ball just losing its way, just pushes it back. Did well there, Slade. Cruz, Kerr, Farrell. Burgess rolls it round to Cipriani. Here's Watson. England wingers enjoyed themselves this evening. 2 for Watson, 1 for May. Might need another though. From somewhere, Slade kicks again. This time May. Arms pumping after this. And after Spedding, but he offloads to Guitoun. Taken by Goujon, but adjudged forward.
So one of those from Nick White, the Aussie scrum half this morning against New Zealand. That's unforgivable, but from Guitoun, the right winger, he will be very disappointed. France have worked their way out of a corner quite nicely, and that forward pass gives England a great position, but there's massive pressure on Cowan-Dickie and Wilson here to really solidify this scrum. A tight head, Wilson has to be a rock.
Henry Slade goes, Billy Twelvetrees comes on, and Sebastian Vaha-Mahina is on for France. I think that now is everybody, with Fickou back on as well.
Twelvetrees on the right wing. Look at the England alignment behind this scrum here. Farrell, Cipriani and the speedy man. You can't quite see behind Cipriani, you can now. Anthony Watson hunting the hat-trick, but there'll be no hat-trick if England cannot hook a decent scrum here. They'd like to put a right hand on this, I fancy, but they've got options to go either way. May deadly on the left flank.
Back up to 15 men as well, England, with Haskell. Well, Farrell might as well just keep going. Nobody wants to tackle him. And Kerr just couldn't get his hands on the ball there. Guirado can, and he launches a counter-attack here. Fickou goes wide. Dulin takes on Billy Twelvetrees, still in that right-wing position. Dulin dribbles on, and it's Cowan-Dickie there again. He can cover the ground, this young man, Luke Cowan-Dickie, and he needed to. Now suddenly Callum Clark's become the policeman.
But once again, the dangers of a turnover. Haskell, decent work from the base of the scrum. Farrell thinks it's opening up, but there are 3 Frenchmen there, and again, not for the first time, and perhaps significantly, England have lost turnover in pretty important positions. Breakdowns have been so important in the Rugby Championship in the Southern Hemisphere. It's an address England will have to look at, whatever the personnel.
It's England ball again, though, with Atwood. And Kerr. Lee Dixon having left the squad. Joe Simpson, that injury, ill-timed injury. England's 3 scrum halves. Ben Youngs, of course, Richard Wigglesworth, and now Danny Kerr. Well played, little Bryce Dulin. Rory Cockett, another South African-born player in this French team. Johnny May. Now the crowd will get interested here. England don't want to get turned over again. Well, they've conceded the penalty because they feared that they would be turned over. It is an issue, isn't it?
Well, they're being beaten at the breakdown, and they're being beaten at the moment in the power game. Now, it's interesting, before the game, a few of us said this was a day when the result wasn't quite as important as performance. I wonder, Clive, as a World Cup winning coach, when do you say, even in a warm-up game, let's batten down the hatches and get this win? What you're thinking now, if you're Stuart Lancaster and you're the captain of England?
I think they've always gone into the game wanting to, obviously, to win the game. I think it's very important they win this match. But let's face it, they're under the cosh at the moment. They've lost all momentum since half-time. And they've got to look at the scoreboard. They've got a 5-point lead. So I'd say if there's a penalty coming up, they've got to kick it. I'd be thinking about putting a drop goal on as well to see, can they just win this game when they're under real pressure at the moment. But they need to come away from a win with this game, Stuart. There's no doubt about that.
And they need to stop France getting into these rolling more positions. They've looked threatening to the point of scoring a try. Guirado's come on and added real energy for Hooker, and now it's Haskell doing the turnover for England. So England get one back. Cruz puts it down on the boot, and here's Goujon. Feeds a little bit into thin air there, but Fickou can make something out of nothing. He's that type of player. England contest again. They feel they might get it, but told to let it go by referee Lacey.
Advantage.
Comes bouncing back for Danny Kerr now. Kerr himself is going to be first to arrive, and he's got a boot on it. And Johnny May, it snakes away from him, but May thinks he's scored.
It looks to me the Frenchman carried it into touch.
Time off, please.
Yes, the assistant is making his way to John Lacey here.
I thought Rory Cockett, Miles,
Simon?
carried that ball, slid into touch.
We want to check two things, please. First of all, a touch on the way down, and then try yes or no, please.
Okay, John, we'll check the touch first and then the touch down.
George Clancy, the assistant.
Can you have a look at him taking the ball out that play back here? We're looking.
John, the touch call come up first. Here it is.
Simon, that looks to George and I that he's in touch first, so it's a line out to
Lamrat's
right.
in touch.
Yes, it's in touch, correct.
Okay. Touch first.
But Tom Wood's point
Mr.
about
Mark,
what
Simon,
happens
please.
after that, and that taking out of Danny Kerr is a very fair point.
Yes.
You might just want to check foul play as well.
No, he's in touch first. He's in touch first.
Johnny, are you happy with the foul play, or do you want to check it?
No, we play on. Touch first.
John Lacey's view is the ball is in touch, therefore the game is actually dead.
Yes, please.
That's his interpretation.
And the referee's word is final. You could hear his assistants encouraging
Happy, George?
maybe a different line to be taken.
That's straight.
Cowan Dickey buzzes around the field 100 miles an hour,
Yes.
but there's no doubt at all he has struggled with the line out, along with the whole collective. Not just Cowan Dickey, but the England 8 is struggling at the moment badly.
I want to see straight scrum, okay? Straight. Okay?
Yeah, we're ready, sir.
Line.
And there is an area that has cost England in recent times in big games, those missed line-outs.
Well, the absence of Hartley just magnifies the problem, and it is a problem.
Set.
It's a real problem.
Okay, we're gonna reset here. No leaning in. Both sides leaning in. Okay? No leaning. Hold your balance.
And that's John Lacey's message to the far side of the scrum as we look, but it's all happening here between Corbisiero and Antonio as well.
Crouch!
Saw Brooks penalised for his knee on the floor in the first half. Well, just about everything was on the floor there between these two on this near side. Well, down goes Corbisiero once more, and that's the penalty. George Clancy gives it, the assistant.
In and down. In and down, one.
It has been a pretty torrid half an hour for the England 8, you know. Not much has gone their way. Breakdown, they've struggled and they've been shunted back at the scrum, and there you can see
Your discipline needs to improve around the scrum area now for me, okay?
John Lacey agrees.
Falling in on it.
real problems there for England at the moment. The foundations have gone completely. Worries for Graham Rowntree. I think the biggest worry might just be this line-out situation and what England are going to do to make sure they get good ball. When England are at their best, their line-out functions very well, as does their scrum. Now there's a lot of key players like Laws and Launchbury and Marler and Youngs who are not there today. So we know they're going to improve there, but they've got to find the hooker to hit their man. And you can see Jamie George, who probably is considered England's fourth choice now, is the best of them. But Cowan, Dickey and Webber have to be better than that.
Here's Haskell again. He's done that a couple of times since he's come on, not just the turnover, but the sweeping up job.
Use it!
Kerr. Yotun doesn't opt for the mark. Maybe wishes he had now, though Spedding gets him out of it with a powerful surge away. the fullback.
Okay, good decision too.
Plenty of French jerseys on this side. One of them is Lamarat. He's been very industrious all night. That's been knocked on. England have another chance here at the scrum.
Well, France have been guilty of one thing in this game. They have played, or tried to play, an awful lot of rugby between the 22 and 10-metre line, and unless you're absolutely precise, you risk losing possession. And at a key time, 5 points down, that is what they've done. Now, can England win this scrum? Spedding's been powerful as well, hasn't he? He carries with real conviction.
Philippe Saint-André feels a big fan of this man, Spedding, winning his 8th cap. Saint-André finishes with France at the end of the World Cup. Guy Novès will take over. It's a messy scrum, and Corbusier is not enjoying it at the moment.
Okay, listen to me. Here. You both need to start driving straight. Whoever doesn't will get penalised.
We want more moves. We want more clubs. Big back rise.
Crouch!
England need a better scrum here.
Bind! Set.
Maybe the understatement of the evening, marks. Yeah, they certainly could do with one. They got one.
And they keep it in just to make the point. Right on cue, they deliver. Corbusier looks happier now, and so do the rest of the pack.
Well, now we had that chat with Clive Woodward about when do you say to hell with the frilly stuff, let's just get the win. And Owen Farrell goes for the corner. I'm a little surprised, but I guess England will feel it worked in the first half, but in the first half they had different personnel and they weren't facing a physical onslaught. I don't know, I think this should have been 3 points.
They're not quite as sellout tonight as it will be, of course, at the World Cup. Crowd have appreciated England's attacking intent, but I don't think there would have been much of a complaint there had England gone for the 3 points to try and make sure that these supporters leave celebrating a win. And it goes wrong at the line out again.
I've got to say, that was pretty poor decision making by England.
That's right.
Sensed at the time. It's not just Cowan Dickey has hardly hit a man. He's a young player making a debut. He's under pressure. There's 5 points in it. Don't put him under that pressure. Say to Owen Farrell, just go and finish this game off. Tom Wood doesn't get near it, but Tom Wood makes a pretty bad decision going for the corner there.
Crouch! Bind! Set.
Again, England put the power on, but Pickamoles comes away. Had a good night as Louis Pickamoles. There's a man that France are not going to leave out of their World Cup squad. Antonio. Rory Cockett. Through goes Tom Wood to try and charge down. England have control of possession again, but it is a line-out.
Well, Luke Cowan-Dickey is going to be feeling really tense here. And the last line-out as well, it was called to the tail. Not only should they have gone for 3 points instead of the line-out, they then went for the hardest line-out to the least experienced member of their team. I mean, rugby is a thinking game as well as a physical game, and England have to go short here, win the ball and drive the ball and help the young Exeter hooker.
And it's French hands on it. Cowan-Dickey is trying to make amends, but it puts England on the back foot here, potentially. Pickamoles, Rory Cockett to the blind side. finds try scorer Ouedraogo. I think we're finding out that for Luke Cowan-Dickie it's the next World Cup, the one that's beckoning. Cockett again, looks for the handoff. Good offload there, and England could be in trouble, but it's Johnny May. Plays a bit of soccer with it. Still not done this for England, far from it.
Should be, but it's still nervous around Twickenham. There's no doubt at all this part of southwest London seriously quieter than it was in the first half, when Johnny May was carrying to great effect. But in the second half, it's been Picamoll and his big mates who have dominated.
So Idiot tried to get on the pitch. We're not going to give him any oxygen of publicity. Here's Cockett, though. He might be in the headlines tomorrow if he does something special here. Cockett again. England pick up with May. Needed to. Guitoum was hovering there. Haskell. And Farrell to Goujon. Tense finish this is for England. Unnecessary, really. Should have been home and hosed.
Stay there, one.
Rory Cockett tries the other way. Finds Chiocchi. Cockett again to Tales. Finds the scrum half. Now it's Antonio. On it goes to Vahamahina. France think they can win it. Haven't won at Twickenham for some time, 8 years. On the end of 55 points in the Six Nations. Well, they did score 35 of their own. In goes Haskell again. That could be important. That could be the winning moment. It is. England have the penalty. They won't be kicking this one for the post, no way. But they will be kicking it off, and they will be winning the match.
What's that tired old cliche? Forwards win matches, backs decide by how many. Well, not tonight, not at Twickenham. This French pack has been the dominant force. They have eclipsed England, but the England backs on minimal ball have been deadly, and they have nicked a win for England in the end.
Yes, England get the win to start their World Cup preparations with a victory. Was a must, really, here at Twickenham. More of the same, say the England supporters, over the coming weeks on this ground. They go to Paris, one up in this mini-series. Who's your man of the match in game one?
Picamoll was brilliant for France. I thought it could be any one, a number of England backs, but in the end, it was the man that made the difference. Anthony Watson's razor finishing twice in the first half, in the end, proved the difference between England winning and England losing. He is my QBE man of the match. Decent effort from Burgess, excellent effort from Slade, good stuff from May. But Watson, he gets the vote, he scored the tries that mattered, that made the difference.
They're lining up for the interview, Stuart, so I haven't got too long. I just want to ask you this question. Slade and Burgess, just to go home in on those two, is there room for them both, or is that a redundant debate?
No, do you know what I would say? I wouldn't say either have played their way in, but I would say both have done enough to be looked at again. I would like to see them both again in the bear pit that is Paris next week. I think they should still be in contention. No decisions need to be made quite yet.
Well, 7 tries in March for England today. It's been 3. 2 from Anthony Watson, 1 from Johnny May, and that proved to be a vital one because France came back with that try from a rolling maul, a tactic that England, of course, have employed so well over the years. They'll be hurting from that. They'll be hurting from the loss of some key turnovers as well during that game, and maybe that game management towards the end as well to make sure and close it out. But England played with ambition, they delivered the tries, and in the end they delivered the win as well by 19 points to 14.